Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TGC Conversations, a series where we meet people, ideas, and stories that shape the world of golf. I am your host, Bhupendra Singh. Today, we are going to look at golf from a slightly different perspective. When we think about golf course, we normally think about fairways, greens, bunkers, and the game of golf. But a golf course is also a landscape. It can have magnificent trees, lakes, gardens, clubhouses, terraces, lawns, restaurants, and sometimes even accommodation. And that raises an interesting question. Can a golf course become more than a place to play golf? Could it become a destination for celebrations? And particularly, could golf courses become some of India's most beautiful wedding venues? To explore that question, I am joined today by someone who comes from a completely different side of the industry, Mr. Suneet Kumar Singh, associated with the Indian wedding and celebration ecosystem and the team behind Wedmate, a platform focused on wedding inspiration, planning venues, vendors, and real wedding stories. Suneet, welcome to the Golfing Circle. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Suneet, let's begin with your world. You have spent years understanding the wedding industry, couples, families, venues, and the experience surrounding a wedding. What, in your opinion, makes a wedding venue truly memorable?
I think a memorable wedding venue is much more than a beautiful building or a large banquet hall. It is about the experience that the venue creates. The first thing is the setting. The moment guests arrive, what they see, what they feel, and how the place makes them feel special. Then comes the ability of the venue to accommodate the different elements of a wedding: ceremonies, food, entertainment, accommodation, guest movement, and logistics. But ultimately, the venue should have a certain character. A couple should be able to look at the venue and imagine their wedding happening there.
That is interesting because this is where I think golf courses have a potential advantage. A golf course already has something that many conventional venues have to create artificially: landscape. You have mature trees, large open spaces, water features, views, and changing scenery. From a wedding planner's perspective, how valuable is that natural environment?
Experience driven. People want photographs to look different, ceremonies that feel special, spaces that give every event its own identity. A golf course can provide multiple natural settings within one single property. You could have a ceremony in one location, cocktails somewhere else, dinner in another setting, like that.
Right. So let's imagine I'm the owner or general manager of a golf club. I come to you and say, Sunit, I have a 18-hole golf course, a beautiful clubhouse, lawns, restaurant, and perhaps accommodation nearby. I want to explore wedding as an additional business opportunity. What would you look at first?
I would look at the property from the guest perspective, not from a golfer's perspective. I would ask how easy it is to reach there, where do guests arrive, where they park, where can the ceremony take place, where can guests move between the functions, what happens if there is rain, where is the catering coming from, where do the vendors set up, where can the bride and groom get ready, how much accommodation is available, and perhaps most importantly, can the golf course host a wedding without disrupting its primary golf operations?
All right. So that brings me to what I think is one of the biggest challenges. A golf course is not designed primarily as an event venue. As a golf course professional, I would be concerned about turf damage, vehicle movement, temporary structures, heavy equipment, lighting, noise, and the movement of hundreds of guests across property. How would you design a wedding around golf course rather than on the golf course?
I think that is exactly the right approach. You don't necessarily need to put a wedding in the middle of a fairway. The golf course itself can become a visual backdrop. Why? The actual event takes place in carefully selected areas. For example, you could use a clubhouse lawn, a garden, a terrace overlooking the golf course, a lakeside, a practice facility, or another designated event space. The key is to create the controlled event zone. The wedding planner and golf course management team should jointly decide where guests can go, where vehicles can move, and where structures are to be installed. That protects the golf course while allowing the wedding to benefit from the landscape.
Perfect. So let's take it further. Indian weddings are increasingly multi day celebrations. Suppose we have a 3 day wedding at a golf resort. How would you imagine using the property?
I would look at the golf property as complete destination rather than a single wedding venue. For example, day one will welcome a relaxed welcome dinner or cocktail evening overlooking the golf course. Then day two celebrations, Mehndi during the day, following by a Sangeet night or an entertainment evening. Day three wedding, the main ceremony in a carefully selected outdoor setting, followed by the reception. And if the property has accommodation, breakfast, brunch, or the next morning can become the part of the experience. The advantage is that the couple and their guests are not simply attending the event, they are experiencing a destination together.
Right. So, one of the things that fascinates me about golf courses is that they are designed around views and movement. As a golfer, I experience one landscape after another during an 18-hole round. Could that same principle be used by a wedding planner? Could the wedding itself have a journey through the property?
Absolutely. In fact, I think that could become one of the strongest advantages of a golf property. You can create a sequence, guests arrive at one location, they move to another for the ceremony, then perhaps to another location for cocktails, then to a different setting for dinner. Each transition becomes a part of experience. A well designed golf course already has the sense of discovery. A wedding planner can use their characteristic rather than fighting against it.
All right, so let's talk about the visual experience. Today, photography and video are a huge part of weddings. A golf course offers fairways, trees, lakes, bridges, landscapes, and dramatic opening spaces. Do you see golf courses having particular advantage from a photography or cinematic perspective?
Definitely. A golf course can provide a much greater variety of backgrounds than a conventional banquet venue. You can photograph the couple against the landscape, near water, under mature trees, around architectural features, or at the sunset. And because the property is large, you can create different visual identities for different functions. For today's couples who are thinking not only about the wedding itself, but also about how their wedding will be remembered and presented, that is very valuable
Right.
for
So
them.
so now let's look at the other side. What could prevent golf courses from becoming successful wedding destinations?
There are several potential barriers. First is the infrastructure. A beautiful golf course alone doesn't make a good wedding venue. You need hospitality, toilets, power backup, parking, catering facilities, guest accommodation, or nearby hotels, vendor access, and weather contingency plans. The second is operational coordination. Golf course management and wedding operations have to work together. And the third is understanding the wedding custom. The wedding requires flexibility, personalization, and a very detailed planning. The golf club has to be prepared for that.
All right. So let's imagine the ideal situation. A golf club wants to enter this market seriously. If you were advising the club, what would you tell the to develop?
I would tell them not to simply say we have a golf course and we can host weddings. Instead, they should create a complete wedding proposition. They need to identify Where can ceremonies happen? Where can receptions happen? What is the capacity? What accommodation is available? What catering can be provided? What happens during the rain? Where can vendors operate? How will guest movement be managed? And then create packages and experiences around those spaces. The golf course should become the part of the story.
Well, so we have already completed the front nine. For your understanding, in golf we have two sets of nines. Front nine we have already completed, and even in this show, I have a format of having front nine and the back nine. So now we are moving to the quick nine, which has a short nine questions, which I'll be asking you, and I expect a brief answer for those kind of questions. The first question is outdoor wedding or ballroom wedding?
Outdoor, provided the weather and logistics are properly planned.
Perfect. And sunrise wedding or sunset wedding?
Sunset weddings.
Golf course or beach for destination wedding?
Golf course, especially if it offers a great resort
All
experience.
right. And one feature of a golf course that a wedding planner would love?
The landscape,
Perfect. One thing a golf club should never compromise when hosting a wedding?
the quality and the protection of the golf course,
One thing wedding planners need from golf course superintendents?
communication,
One thing golf course superintendents need from wedding planners?
planning.
Okay. And if you could design one dream wedding on a golf course, what would it look like?
It would be an intimate sunset ceremony overlooking the landscape, followed by cocktails outdoor, dinner under the stars, and a beautifully designed evening celebration with the golf course becoming the natural backdrop rather than being disturbed by the event.
Complete the sentence. The future of golf course weddings in India is
An opportunity waiting to be discovered.
perfect. So now we come to the 19th. Before we conclude, is there anything we haven't discussed that you would like to share with our viewers? Perhaps a message to golf clubs, golf course owners, and hospitality operators who may be considering wedding as an additional opportunity, or your vision for what the future of golf course wedding in India could look like.
I think the biggest opportunity is to think differently about what a golf course can offer. A golf course doesn't have to stop being a golf course to become a destination. Its landscape, hospitality, and sense of space can create experiences beyond the game. But the most important thing is that this should be done thoughtfully. Golf course management, hospitality teams, and wedding professionals need to work together. If it happens, I believe golf courses can become some of the most beautiful and memorable celebration venues in India. And perhaps the most interesting part is that wedding industry can also introduce a completely new audience to the beauty of the golf courses.
Perfect. Suneet, thank you for giving us a completely different perspective on the golf course today. We often look at a golf course through the eyes of a golfer, but today we looked at it through the eyes of a wedding planner, a guest, and a celebration designer. And perhaps that gives us a new way of thinking about golf. A golf course is not only a place where we play the game, it can also be a landscape, a destination, a hospitality experience, and a place where people create some of the most important memories of their lives. But the opportunity is not to turn golf courses into wedding halls. The opportunity is to discover how celebrations can coexist with golf without compromising the game, the turf, or the character of the game of golf course. Sunil, thank you once again for joining me. I am Bhupendra Singh, and this is the Golfing Circle. Thank you for watching.